Hey, what's going on there, guys? I'm back here today with another booster box opening for you. So today I have in a box of M14 that we're going to crack open and take a look at. So this is the second booster box of M14 that I'm opening up as a full box opening up on the channel. If you guys want to see the first one, there is a link to a playlist in the description where I have all the previous boxes that I've opened up on the channel. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But with this box, we're going to crack it open. We're going to take a look at the rares, the mythics, and the foils that we get out of here, and also some like noteworthy uncommons like Doomblade. But for the most part, M14 was a pretty cool set. It has some definite chase rares out of here, like Mutavault, Scavenging Ooze, and a few others. But for the most part, the core sets always have a lot of limited fillers, so there are going to be like some junk rares or rares that people would be less than happy to pull over and over again, but for the most part, the boxes are still pretty fun to crack open, and there are some cards that are definitely worth opening out of this set. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to open it up here. Alright, so pull this flap back, and we have the flyer here, and we'll put the packs up here and start cracking into them. So starting off with the first column, and we're just gonna kind of skip to the uncommons here. And our first rare is Zathard Necromancer. So he's a 2/2 for 3, and whenever he or another human creature you control dies, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. So kind of an interesting card for the aristocrats decks that make use out of sacking creatures and being able to recycle around their resources. We have a Fiendslayer Paladin, 2/2 for 3, first strike lifelink, can't be the target of red or black spells. For the most part, I really like the hate cycle that they have going on with like Fiendslayer Paladin, Witchstalker, Mindsparker, all those creatures, Lifebane Zombie, and the Merfolk guy. I can't think of his name right now. I think that the hate cycle was actually pretty good. We have a Bogbrew Witch, 1/3 for 4, 2 mana tap, and search your library for a card named Festering Newt or Bubbling Cauldron, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Doomblade is pretty awesome for us. We'll put that off to the side. And we have a Vastwood Hydra. 0/0 for X amount of mana and double green. Enters the battlefield with X amount of +1/+1 counters on it. And whenever it dies, you may distribute any number of +1/+1 counters equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on Vastwood Hydra among any number of creatures you control. That's kind of cool. And we have a Lifebane Zombie, so another one of the hate cycle cards. 3/1 for 3, Intimidate. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a green or white creature card from it and exile it. So Lifebane Zombie, of course, really good in the standard format right now, where you can play it up against the Junk Reanimator decks in your sideboard. And jumping the gun here. We have a Nightmare, 6 cost, and flying, power, and toughness equal to the number of swamps you control. And then we have a foil Elvish Mystic. That's awesome. I was actually pretty surprised that they printed Elvish Mystic and not like Land of War Elves, like they would have done in the past. We have a Mutavault here. Definitely one of the chase rares out of this set. Taps for 1 generic mana to our mana pool, 1 mana, and it becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until the end of the turn. It's still a land, so of course plays off of things like Merfolk in Modern, or even Slivers in Standard or in Modern if you guys are looking for ideas. And then we have a foil Staff of the Mind Magus. Put that off to the side. Like flipping packs over here. I'll fix that in a second. And we have Quicken. 1 blue, and the next sorcery card you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash and draw a card. So where did I... That one came from there. Alright. Young Pyromancer is another good uncommon out of this set. We have Ogre Battle Driver, 3/3 for 4. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature gets +2/+0 and gains haste until the end of the turn. Really fun card to play in a lot of different formats, I guess. I mean, Constructed and Limited, it definitely seems good in both of them. Limited probably more so than Constructed, but even in Constructed you can make a deck around Ogre Battle Driver. And we have Wild Ricochet, so 4 mana, instant, and you may choose new targets for target instant or sorcery, then copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Pretty cool as a sideboard tech to have against like control-based decks, mid-range based decks, as far as Standard is concerned, because it's a little bit less intimidating than other formats like Modern, where you can get away with running cards like Wild Ricochet rather than like the run-of-the-mill hate that you would have in certain colors. But Wild Ricochet in Standard, I definitely think that's that could definitely be worthy of a slot in a sideboard to have up against like control matchups or anything like that. Being able to copy up like Sphinx's Revelation and use it. Oh, excuse me. Alright, let's see what we have in this one. We have a Door of Destinies, 4 mana, and enters the battlefield, and we choose a creature type. Whenever we cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on it, and creatures we control with the chosen type get +1/+1 for each counter on Door of Destinies. And we have a foil Frost Breath. Oh. So that's pretty cool. And the last pack out of the first column here. We have a Dismiss into Dreams. It's a 7-cost enchantment. Each creature your opponent controls is an illusion in addition to its other types and has, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Seems pretty cool for like EDH, if you have like ping abilities, like just any creature that just taps and deals damage to target creature or player, you can play around Dismiss into Dreams. Starting off the second column here. And we have Thorncaster Sliver, 2/2 for 5, and Sliver creatures you control have, whenever this creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Banisher Priest is pretty awesome. And we have Witch Stalker. So three of the hate cycle cards already. 3/3 for 3 hexproof, and whenever an opponent casts a blue or black spell during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Witch Stalker. So good for like mono green variants or anything that's generally green heavy. Being able to have it is pretty nice because if your opponent's playing like counter magic or any black removal, you're able to make the Witch Stalker a lot bigger, so it plays towards your advantage, just having him in the main board as a 3/3 for 3 with hexproof. Colonian Tusker is pretty cool. And we have Goblin Diplomats, 2/1 for 2. Tap, each creature attacks this turn if able. And we have Planar Cleansing, destroy all non-land permanents for 6 mana. Planar Cleansing, of course, good in really run-of-the-mill, like control-based decks like Esper Control, Blue-White Control. As far as standard is concerned, that is. Planar Cleansing is pretty cool. Alright. We have a Wind Reader Sphinx. Where do my reading skills go? It's a 37 for 7 flying. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, you may draw a card. This is probably the first time I've seen this card outside of looking at the spoilers. So, Wind Reader Sphinx. Pretty cool. Seems like a pretty cool card. Playing around like a lot of flying creatures. Lingering Souls or anything like that. And we have a Bone Scythe Sliver. So 2/2 for 4. Sliver creatures you control have double strike. If you want to go like tribal slivers, the Bone Scythe Sliver is definitely a really good one to include. The Thorncaster isn't a bad one either, but I think that I like the Bone Scythe Sliver a lot more, being able to grant double strike. Another Doomblade. And we have Oath of the Ancient Wood. So 3 cost, whenever it enters the battlefield or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And we have a foil forest. So a lot more foils, I think, if I remember correctly, than my first box, at least thus far. And we have the Psionic Resonator. So it's a 2-cost artifact with 2 mana, tap, and copy target triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Then we have a foil Soulmender. And we have Elite Arcanist, 1/1 for 4. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card from your hands. X amount of mana and tap, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. X is the converted mana cost of the exiled card. fun whenever you're playing it around like things like Silence. Of course, more casual than anything else, but still a cool interaction. Kind of like Isochron Scepter, which is seemingly what the Elite Arcanist is modeled after. We have Gale Rider Sliver, 1/1 for 1 blue. Sliver creatures you control have flying. And we have a foil Spell Blast. And we have a Shadowborn Demon, 5/6 for 5, flying, and whenever he enters the battlefield, destroy target non-demon creature at the beginning of your upkeep. If there are fewer than 6 creature cards in your graveyard, sack a creature. And a foil Guardian of the Ages. So that's really awesome foil rare here. 7/7 for 7, Defender. And when a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, if he has Defender, he loses Defender and gains Trample. That's awesome. That is just a massive creature to have for 7 mana. Another young Pyromancer. And we have Savage Summoning. 1 green instant can't be countered. The next creature card you cast this turn may be cast as though it had Flash. That spell can't be countered, and the creature enters in with an additional +1/+1 counter on him. So, cool card for sideboards whenever you're playing green. And we're starting off into the third column here. We have Ratchet Bomb, 2 mana, tap, put a charge counter on it, tap, sack it, and destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the counters on Ratchet Bomb. It's another really good reprint out of this set. Saw competitive play in the past and definitely has the potential of seeing more competitive play. And we have Megantic Sliver, 3/3 for 6. Sliver creatures you control get +3/+3. So a lot of different slivers out of this box. Another Tusker. And we have Liliana's Reaver, 4/3 for 4, Death Touch, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token on the battlefield tapped. And we have a foil, Seismic Stomp. Definitely a lot more foils than my last box. And we have Tidebinder Mage. So this was the blue card that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. 2/2 for double blue, enters the battlefield, and we tap target red or green creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap for as long as we control Tidebinder Mage. So that's the blue hate card. So all we're missing is the red one now. Is that right? Yeah. And so we'll see if we can pull it out of this box. That'd be kind of cool to see all 5 of them in just one box. We have Trading Post, 4 mana, and it has 4 abilities. First one is 1 mana tap, discard a card, you gain 4 life. Second is tap, or 1 mana tap, pay 1 life, put a 0/1 goat onto the battlefield. Third is 1 mana tap, sack a creature, return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. And the last one is sack an artifact and draw a card. All of them have the 1 mana and tap included on them. But Post was pretty cool whenever we still had Scars of Mirrodin around. We had Wormcoil Engine, and Mono Black Trading Post was a thing. And we have a Johnny's Chosen, 3/3 for 4. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 2/2 cat onto the battlefield. And if an enchantment, if that enchantment is an aura, you may attach it to the token. We have Jace's Mindseeker, 4/4 for 6 flying. And whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her grave. You may cast a instant or sorcery from among them without paying its mana cost. And we have Silence. So 1 mana, 1 white. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. Spells cast before this resolves are unaffected. And we have Clone, so 4 mana, you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. And we're kind of nearing the end of this box here. Just a few more packs left. Keep on getting these, the Theros ads as the tip card. We have Rise of the Dark Realms, so 9 mana, pretty expensive, but put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. That is pretty awesome. Really, really expensive, but it's definitely a fun card to play with. And we have Chandra Pyremaster. Awesomeness. 4 loyalty, 4 cost. +1 is going to deal 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage up to 1 target creature or 1 damage to target player and 1 damage to up to 1 creature target player controls. That creature can't block this turn. 0 and exile to the top card of your library. You may play it this turn, of course, still paying its mana costs and everything. And -7, exile the top 10 cards of your library. Choose an instant or sorcery exiled this way and copy it 3 times. And you cast all 3 of those copies without paying their mana costs. That is just awesome. So definitely a lot of nice stuff out of this box. And we have our last pack here. Alright. So, it is a Imposing Sovereign, which is not bad at all. It's a 2/1 for 2 mana. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So, Imposing Sovereign, of course, if you're playing it in like mono white, white weenie, any of those types of variants, it acts like Blind Obedience, but at the same time you still have a 2/1 body that's going to be swinging in and dealing damage to your opponent. So out of this box, I'm actually pretty pleased with it. We got the Chandra Pyremaster, Rise of the Dark Realms. We got the Shadowborn Demon. What else do we get? Ratchet Bomb is pretty nice. We got the Bone Scythe, Sliver, Witch Stalker, the Fiend Slayer, Lifebane Zombie, Mutavault, of course. But just out of everything, I would have to say that The Pyromancer is probably like one of my favorite cards out of here. That and the Mutavault. Let me know what you guys think of this box, if it was good or bad. If you've had any better box experiences than what I just pulled out of this box, share them down in the comments below. If you guys want to purchase a booster box of M14, ABU Games is selling them on their site. There are links down below where you guys can check out their website and you can purchase M14 booster boxes and booster packs or any other M14 products. But until next time, guys, have yourselves a wonderful, fun-filled Magic the Gathering day.